Okay, so if you're trying to fix your credit and you're trying to fix it in a hurry, listen up, because you only have once a year to do this opportunity, and then you have to wait another 12 months. So you're going to want to listen to everything that I have to tell you, because I'm going to share with you exactly how to do my infamous holiday blitz. So let's get started. Okay, so if you're trying to fix your credit and you've been kind of dilly-dallying around, or you haven't been as successful as you'd like over the year, then listen up, because I have a strategy to share with you that I call my holiday blitz. I call it my famous holiday blitz because it works so freaking well, and I'm the only one that is going to actually share with you this opportunity. So let's get started. Now let's talk about some dates, some critical dates coming up, because I'm going to do it a little differently this year, because we're going to cheat just a little bit. Now, you're probably wondering, well, Monica, what does this mean? Is this illegal? Well, it's actually technically not illegal. It's what I call unorthodox. And for those of you that are really desperate to getting some things off your credit that has not been falling off your credit, then you're going to probably want to use this strategy. So I personally myself would not do this strategy, because I like to do things the 100% above board legal way. However, there's nothing in the books that says that it's illegal, I guess, technically. And so I know some of my students and some of my YouTube watchers have used this strategy successfully and have gotten some negative items off of their personal credit reports immediately, just by simply using this strategy. So it's up to you. I use caution and tell you the cautionary tale of, you probably don't want to use this if you're one of these goody two-shoes, or you think that creditors are the most amazing things on the planet and they play by the rules all the time, in which case you probably want to do it a little differently, in which case I will also share with you exactly how to do it the above board way. However, there's some dates that you need to know for the holiday blitz. And so if you want to increase your personal FICO score by 200 points or more by the end of the year, then you're going to want to listen to everything that I have to share with you, and you're going to want to get yourself a pen and a pad of paper, because you have a lot of notes to take. So let's talk about our dates. Okay, so our very first date coming up is October 18th. All right, now if you're going to be doing it the 100% above board, 1000% legal way, then you're going to skip the October 18th date. But if you want to do it my secret cheat way, then you're going to want to listen to what I have to share with you, because you do have to mail these off on or before October 18th. So you can mail them today, right now, whatever you want to do, but they have to be in the mail postmarked on the 18th of October. So let's talk about this cheat way of doing things. So let me give you a little backstory on how things work when it comes to creditors and collection agencies in particular. And that is, by law, they do have something called, it's a federal law, of validation of debt, which means that upon request, meaning that if you, the consumer, are requesting that they validate your debt, prove that your debt is your debt through a legal signed contract or legal signed agreement, you, by law, have the right to see this agreement or this contract that you signed for this debt that's showing up on your credit reports, right? So say, for example, you took out a car loan with, I don't know, Toyota Motor Credit Corporation, and maybe you had a repossession or something. Well, even though it's on your credit reports, by law, you probably know that you signed the agreement when you bought the Toyota, but you have the right to see that contract, the original signed contract or agreement when you purchased that car. So say it's on your credit report, it's showing a repossession from Toyota Motor Credit Corporation, and maybe now it's a collection agency who has the debt. So I have a secret little cheat strategy that you can use when communicating with the creditors to validate your debt. So this would be a letter that would go directly to the creditor or collection agency, not the bureaus, directly to the creditor or collection agency. And so the letter is basically going to ask, I'm going to have a copy of the letter in the description box below that you can just copy and paste into a Word document and print it off. And then I would never sign it, by the way. Just do a little scribble. That's not your legal signature, because you don't want them to have your legal signature on file in case they don't have it, right? A lot of these creditors and collection agencies, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but they cheat, they steal, they lie, they break the law constantly. And so you don't want them to take your signature from your letter and lift it onto a quote-unquote agreement or contract when maybe they don't have one, or maybe they can't find it, right? Many collection agencies don't have the original creditor, the original agreement anyway. And so the last thing you want them to do is to pull off your signature off your letter and onto an agreement that doesn't exist, okay? So you never, ever, ever put your legal signature on anything when it comes to the bureaus, the creditors, collection agencies, whenever you're communicating with them by way of mail. Never, like literally never, okay? So just scribble your name or whatever you do to make up a fake signature. And what you do is you can copy and paste the information down in the description box below, and you can put that in a Microsoft Word document, print it out, sign some other type of signature, and mail it off into an envelope. It could be an envelope like this. It could be a number 10 business size envelope, does not matter. And go to the U.S. Postal Service. You're going to have to stand in line and get certified mail. Certified mail means that they have to sign for it. So there'll be like a little postcard. It's a green postcard. Make sure you put your address on one side, so then that way when the U.S. Postal Service employee, the postal carrier, gets their signature, they'll rip the card off and throw the card in the mail, and then the card will then mail to you directly. It'll go to you, to your address that you have located on the back of that green card, okay? Now this is the legal above board way of doing it, where you're sending the creditor or collection agency a letter saying, hey, as per federal law, I have the right to see this contract or agreement that you're claiming I signed in reference to this debt that you have located on my credit reports. It's called validation of debts, which is a legal federal law, and you have to validate it, and you have 30 days or less to validate this debt. And if you're failing to do so, as per federal law, then it has to be removed from all 3 credit reports, Experian, Equifax, and Transunion, effective immediately. So you send them the letter and you send it by way of certified mail. You get the signature confirmation. Does not matter if it goes to a P.O. box. People still check P.O. boxes, folks. It's like I get people commenting all the time. Well, what if it's going to a P.O. box? So you're acting like no human being goes to check a P.O. box. It's like they have to stand in line and sign all these different, communications that are coming through. So if a human being actually does that, sometimes they stamp it with a stamp. But the reality is, it doesn't matter if they stamp it or sign it. There's a date in which they received it. Okay, that's the most important critical part of this. Okay. Now, in a video before, I talked about a little cheat that I actually learned from one of my students. And he was able to get a ton of stuff removed off of his credit report, and I've had a lot of other students do the same thing. It's a cheat. Use it at your own risk, okay? I don't want anybody blowing up my inbox saying, oh, Monica, you're teaching people to do illegal stuff. It's like, well, again, you tell me what creditor, collection agency, or credit bureau is being above board and 100% legal, and I'll sit here and wait. And I'll be waiting 100 years, and you will fail in that task, because I will tell you that none of them follow the letter of the law, in which case you have to overcome that and circumvent that somehow, as the little guy and the little gal in this circumstance, okay? So the cheat that I share with you is what I call the empty envelope technique, all right? And I learned this from one of my students. And so he told me that when you go to the U.S. Postal Service, you can send a certified letter with the same green postcard with your address information on the back, because what will happen is, again, the postal carrier will say, here, sign this. He'll rip the postcard off, or if it's going to a P.O. box, the postal carrier at the post office will rip it off once they sign it and date it, and then they'll pop it back in the mail, and it'll go to you or whatever address you have on the back, which you want it to go to you. But here's how the empty envelope letter technique works. You don't put a letter in here. There's no letter. There's no return address from who it's from. There's only the address of the creditor or collection agency here, and that's it. All right. The only piece of evidence that this came from you is on that green card. And guess what? The green card gets ripped off and mailed back to you the very moment that the postal carrier gets their signature. Okay. So they don't even have any evidence of who this is from. And then even if they did, it's an empty envelope, which means that there's no communication in here. There's no letter. There's no nothing in here. Okay. So they received the empty envelope, and if you mail this off by October 18th, hopefully sooner, to all your creditors, all your collection agencies who have closed, I repeat, closed, negative or adverse accounts on 3 of your credit reporting bureau reports, Experian, Equifax, Transunion, you're going to have to pull your personal credit reports to find out who's negatively reporting on your credit reports, and you send a letter, whether it's a letter in there or no letter at all, to every single one of those creditors or collection agencies. Again, we want to focus on closed accounts. Now, it's up to you if you want to focus on also open late revolving accounts. You can do that as well. It would work just as well. But the easiest things to come off are your closed accounts. Things that are just closed, charged off, whatever, no longer open accounts anymore. Those are the easiest, quickest, and fastest things to get off and removed off your credit for good, okay? However, again, if you want to also target those that are open revolving late accounts, you can go ahead and do that as well. And again, the only difference between the empty envelope and an envelope that has a letter is, wait for it, the envelope that has the letter has a letter, and the empty envelope has nothing, okay? Now, there's some key differences. Remember, when you send an empty envelope, you don't want to put your return address or anything. You just put the address information, which is located on your credit report. You put it right there in the middle of the envelope, really big, for the creditor or collection agency. And then again, the green card will go on the back, postal carrier will get a signature, rip it off, mail it back to you. You will have then proof that they received this envelope, regardless of whether there was anything in the envelope or not. You want to get these in the mail, one to each one of your creditors or collection agencies that you want removed. So if there's 7 of them, you're doing 7 of these. If there's 5, you're doing 5 of these. If there's 10, you're doing 10 of these. Got it? And so it's going to be for every negative adverse account on your credit report. You're going to mail one of these out, okay? You want them out by October 18th maximum. So once they go out, they have 30 days from the date of receipt to be able to get back with you with this proof of your account. Again, it's the federal law validation of debts, which means that they have to show a contract, a copy of a contract, a copy of some kind of agreement. They have to show you some proof that this account is yours, okay? So you wait, tick, 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 30 days from the date that they receive it. Again, if you can get it in the mail earlier than October 18th, that's even better. And then you wait, okay? So then you want to then do what we call the holiday blitz. So this is the fun part. This is the part that I talked about last year, where you're then going to communicate with the credit bureaus, okay? So now the credit collection agencies and creditors, that part is over at this point. I personally, by the way, just to warn you, if you don't plan on doing the empty envelope strategy, then just skip the October 18th date. Because the last thing you're going to want to do is send your collection agency or creditor a letter basically essentially warning them that you're about to dispute it with the bureaus. And that gives them extra 30-day time frame to whip together some kind of, it could be an illegal contract, it can be an illegal agreement, or it could be a legal contract or a legal agreement. But besides all that, it gives them the opportunity to find a contract. It gives them 30 extra days. You don't want to do that. So if you don't plan on doing the empty envelope strategy, just skip the October 18th date and let's go directly into the holiday season, the holiday blitz. So the next date we have, let's see, is November 20th. It's right before Thanksgiving. So this is the date that you're going to send 3 letters out, one for Experian, one for Equifax, one for Transunion. 3 letters are going to go out physically in the mail. We're not disputing anything online because the online dispute process sucks. It never works. It's not very effective. Don't do it. It's a waste of time. You're going to send them 3 different letters for each bureau, and you're going to dispute everything that's adverse on your credit reports. Now, this is the important part. If you actually did the empty envelope strategy, what you're going to do is give them a copy of the letter that you sent out. Again, just simply copy and paste the stuff that's in the description box below. Give your little, fraudulent, squiggly little, initials or whatever you're going to do on the letter. Copy that letter times however many accounts you're disputing, whether it's the 5, 7, 10, whatever it is. You want to also give them a copy of the front and back, mostly just the back, the part that they actually signed and dated, showing that they received this envelope. You're going to be able to attach that copy of that green card to every single letter, to every single creditor or collection agency. So then you have the letter showing that you sent the letter, right? You also have a copy of the proof that they received it over 30 days ago. And then you basically tell the collection or the credit bureaus, listen, I sent these letters to all these people, and here's proof that I sent these letters to all these people, and I did not receive any response from them and it's been more than 30 days. So as per federal law, you do have to remove these from my credit reports because they have failed to validate the debt as per federal law, okay? So you basically send a letter to Experian, a letter to Equifax, a letter to Transunion, and you also send proof of them receiving this envelope with a copy of the green card and a copy of the letter. Whether or not you sent the letter or not is neither here nor there. They don't know that this was an empty envelope, right? And you just basically say this needs to be removed off my credit immediately because they failed to validate the debt, okay? And by the way, this is the important part here, really important, folks. Experian in particular is famous for kicking the can down the road, meaning, oh, we don't believe that this is you that's, disputing this stuff. We think that you're working with a credit repair agency or whatever. So you need to verify your identity. And they'll send you this form letter in the mail. So to nip that in the bud, make sure that when you send proof of all your letters sent out, proof of all the green cards that came back, and then of course the cover letter that says you need to take all this crap off my credit immediately because they failed to validate the debt. In addition to that, give them a copy of your driver's license, a current driver's license that's valid, that preferably has your home address, okay? If you don't have an ID that has a valid address, go to the DMV and update your address. Come on, stop being so freaking lazy for crying out loud. This is your credit worthiness that we're talking about that's on the line, and you need to have an updated address on your identification, whether it's a state ID card or whether it is a driver's license, okay? Do that because they're going to say that this is a credit repair agency, they don't believe it's you. And you want to be able to say, no, this is not only me, this is my address on my ID. And by the way, if you could also include 2 additional bills of some kind, ideally utility bills that show your name and address on it, new ones within the last 30 days, like a water bill, gas bill, electric bill. If you don't have any utility bills, you live with somebody who pays all the bills, great. Then consider putting in a cell phone bill or an insurance bill, or a credit card bill. Those are probably not as ideal as your utility bills, but it's something. So 2 bills, your identification, copies of those, and then copies of all the letters that you sent out with all of the green cards that they signed and dated, okay? And a cover letter that basically says, hey, they did not validate these debts. These debts need to be removed immediately as per federal law because they failed to respond with any signed agreement or contract that they're required to upon request, okay? And so if you want my free letters, my free dispute letters, you can actually use any one of the dispute letters. It's available in the description box below. GetDisputeLetters.com. Don't put the www part because you'll never get there. It's GetDisputeLetters.com. And you can download my free dispute letters, and you can basically use any one of those, the Experian, Equifax, and Transunion cover letter. And basically it says, these debts have not been validated. Here's proof that I sent out this envelope to all of these different creditors and I received nothing back. I received no validated debt back. I received no contracts or agreements showing my signature. So please remove these as per federal law, okay? And then that's it. That's how we do the holiday blitz. Now, what's going to end up happening is some of the debt will fall off, some will not fall off. That's just how the ball bounces. But you can get probably a good 50 to 70% of those negative accounts that have been just sitting on your credit forever. You can probably get them off within the first round of disputes in the holiday blitz. But you're probably wondering, okay, Monica, well, I sent all this stuff out before Thanksgiving. Why, by the way, are we doing this before the holidays? It's because they are understaffed during the holidays, okay? They're already overworked and underpaid, and then during the holidays, people do even less work, and then, of course, they're on a skeleton crew. So that's why we want to hit them below the belt right before Thanksgiving when your dispute letter is going to sit on somebody's desk for probably a good 10 days, okay? We want that. And then when they get back, they're just usually in a hurry to try to get caught up. So they're usually just removing and deleting stuff off your credit just to catch up, right? And a lot of them are inexperienced. They don't know what they're doing. They're like, okay, let's just remove this because I don't really know. And the senior people that are supposed to be working it, they're on vacation, and then they're disgruntled at these people they get vacation time and they don't. And then the people that are working, they're playing Candy Crush on their phone and they just don't want to do their job, right? So this is why we hit them below the belt during the holiday season. So that's round one, is to get the credit reporting bureau letters out before Thanksgiving. So no later than, I would say, November 20th, November 22nd, whatever the Friday is before Thanksgiving, that is the latest day that you need to be getting your credit reporting bureau letters out. And I prefer that you do trackable mail, USPS Priority, use one of those cardboard priority mailers, and then it's trackable. And you want to mail those out. Make sure that they get it right before Thanksgiving. And therefore, then your 30-day time frame, your 30-day clock starts to tick. What do you think is going to happen when it ends up on somebody's desk the Monday before Thanksgiving? Nothing. Nothing's going to happen for about 10 days, okay? You know, they're going to be so piled up behind. Now, the time starts ticking regardless of whether or not anybody's working on your stuff. You know, the second they get it is when the time starts ticking. That allows you round number 2, which will happen December 23rd, okay? So ideally, if you can get your first round of disputes, now remember, if you send your creditor even your empty envelope out before October 18th, if they can get it by, say, the 20th, then that gives them 30 days to respond. And if they don't respond, then you can actually get your credit reporting bureau disputes out by the 20th or the 21st, somewhere in there, whenever the 30-day clock runs out. That's why we want to get these out in the mail as soon as possible, like before the 18th of October. Because if they can receive these by the 18th or 19th, no later than the 20th, then you can then file a dispute on, say, the 21st with the credit reporting bureaus, because 30 days, more than 30 days has gone by, right? Now, maybe all of it doesn't fall off. And so it's been sitting on somebody's desk through the holiday season, through Thanksgiving, and you're probably like, okay, well, what happens if it all doesn't fall off? What if like 50% falls off? Okay, well then we have time for a second round of disputes right before Christmas. So if we can get our second round of disputes to the credit reporting bureaus by, say, December 23rd, then what'll happen after Christmas, it's sitting on somebody's desk, okay? Because people are still in the holiday vibe. They're still kind of hungover. Some people are still taking vacation, probably through like the first or second week of January. They're still on a skeleton crew. They're still overworked and underpaid. They're still in the holiday like brain fog, and things are just not getting done as quick. And so what happens is that when they see people's disputes come in, man, a lot of them will just delete just to catch up, just to get it over with, just so they don't have to deal with it anymore. And again, you're dealing with inexperienced people who just are at the bottom of the barrel with the company, and they just don't have the seniority to take the time off, but yet they've enjoyed the holiday season with their family. They've gotten drunk, they overate, whatever the case may be. And on top of that, they're still disgruntled at their cohorts who are gone, who got the vacation, who got, the time off that they didn't get, right? So they just delete. I've had so many negative things, like accounts that probably should not have even fallen off, removed off during the holiday blitz, because I took advantage of this once a year opportunity to have these things permanently removed, because I take advantage of the mental and psychological well-being of the person who I know is handling the case at the credit reporting bureaus, okay? Is it cheap? Yeah, so what? You might as well use what you got, because the last time I checked, there are almost no credit reporting bureaus, there are almost no credit collection agencies or creditors who are playing by the rules. So it's time for you to turn the tables, and it's time for you to start becoming credit worthy so that you can get better interest rates, so that you can buy that house that you want, so that you can get a better job, because yes, they do background checks, and yes, if your credit sucks, you're not going to get a good job, to get a better car. You need credit, right? And so you might as well work the system as best as you possibly can by using whatever cheats you can to be able to get a one-up in the system. Otherwise, nobody's ever going to help you out. I mean, seriously, they're not. They're not going to open the doors and roll out the red carpet for you to fix your credit. They're not here to help you. They're here to hurt you and screw you over. And it's time for you to get what's yours, and this is the way I know to do it. So start setting up your empty envelopes, or if you want to put the letter down below in the description box, you can. I strongly urge you not to send the credit bureau, or not the bureaus, the creditors and collection agencies. I urge you not to send them anything before you file disputes with the credit reporting bureaus, because what will end up happening is they will find a contract. They will find some kind of agreement that you agree to, And that will give them an extra 30 days to find it before you file your disputes with your credit reporting agency or your credit reporting bureaus. You don't want to give them that leg up, right? So if you're not going to do the October 18th date deadline thing with the empty envelope, then skip that altogether. And then focus on your first round of disputes with the credit reporting bureaus directly right before Thanksgiving, the week before Thanksgiving. You want it to land on somebody's desk either that Friday before Thanksgiving or that Monday before Thanksgiving, ideally, and that will start your 30-day time clock. And then that will also allow you another chance at the holiday blitz with another round of disputes right before Christmas. So then at least you'll be able to get 2 solid rounds of disputes in before the end of the year. All right, this works like a charm. Don't screw this up. Last year I did this whole thing about how to do the holiday blitz, and I've had people in January and February and March go, can I still do this? I missed out on the opportunity. Yeah, you can still do it, but it's not going to work as well, man. It's just not. The holiday blitz comes once a year. So use this opportunity, plan well, go back through this video, write down the dates. Remember, the first date for the empty envelope is October 18th or before, ideally before. The second date is November 20th, or in the very least the Friday before Thanksgiving, so that you can get it on the credit reporting bureau's desk by Monday before Thanksgiving. And then the last date is December 23rd. You want to be able to mail out your USPS Priority Trackable mail to, again, the bureaus for the second time. Those are your dates. Go through the video again. Make sure you have a pen, pad of paper, because this is important. You can definitely increase and boost your FICO score by 200 points or more with this holiday blitz season. So preliminarily, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I know we have some months left, but this will change your life, because by January, whatever your FICO score is today, it could be 200 points or more by January. So how powerful is that? You don't want to wait till next year. You want to do this now, all right? This is Monica Main signing off, and I will see you in the next video.